No one noticed him anymore. At least, that's how it felt. A young black boy moving quietly through the world, carrying everything he owned in his pockets and his memories. The city had taught him how to be invisible, how to sleep light, how to listen for danger. That morning, hunger pushed him beyond the streets and into the forest, a place most people passed without a second glance. The air was heavy, the trees close, and every sound made his heart beat faster. This wasn't an adventure for him, it was survival. As he followed a narrow path, his thoughts were fixed on finding something, anything, that might get him through another day. Then he heard it. A muffled sound, desperate and weak, cutting through the silence. At first, fear told him to turn back. A boy like him couldn't afford trouble. Trouble never ended well. But something about the sound stopped him in his tracks. That he pushed past branches and shadows until the scene came into view, and in that moment, his world shifted. Tied, helpless, and terrified, a stranger lay at the mercy of the forest. The boy didn't yet know who this man was, or how dangerous this moment could become. He only knew one thing: walking away was no longer an option. Fear curled in his stomach like a living thing. Every instinct screamed at him to run, to disappear into the trees and forget he ever saw this. But something stronger than fear held him there, a flicker of compassion, a reminder that even someone like him could make a difference. The ropes cutting into the stranger's wrists and ankles, the dirt smeared across his face, the way he shivered despite the warm sun overhead, all of it demanded action. The boy's hands shook as he knelt down, examining the knots, trying to figure out how to undo them without making things worse. He whispered reassurances, not sure if the man could hear or even understood, but it was something, a small thread of human connection in that isolated place. Every tug on the ropes felt like a test of his courage, every second stretched endlessly. He remembered all the times he had been ignored, dismissed, left to fend for himself, and he realized that this moment, this choice, was bigger than fear. It was about standing up, even when no one expected him to. Finally, the ropes loosened. The man's eyes met his, wide with relief and disbelief. The boy had done it. He had saved a life, and nothing would ever feel the same again. As the man slowly rose to his feet, the boy finally got a clear look at him. There was a sharpness in his suit, a gleam in his watch, and a presence that spoke of a world the boy had never known, a world of wealth, power, and influence. He realized, almost instantly, that this wasn't just any stranger. This was someone who could open doors, someone whose decisions could ripple far beyond that quiet forest. Yet, in that moment, all titles and money meant nothing. The boy had acted not for reward, not for recognition, but because it was the right thing to do. The millionaire's gratitude was raw and immediate. He grasped the boy's hands, shook them firmly, and kept repeating words of thanks, almost as if trying to anchor himself in reality. For a fleeting moment, the divide between their worlds seemed to disappear. The boy's heart pounded not just with relief, but with a sudden awareness of the possibilities that his courage had unlocked. It was a collision of lives, a moment that would forever change both of them. The boy had stepped from the shadows of society into a spotlight he never sought, proving that heroism doesn't depend on wealth, status, or expectation. No sooner had the danger passed than the sound of sirens cut through the forest, and flashing lights painted the trees in red and blue. The boy froze, unsure of what to expect. In his world, the police were rarely allies. They were authority figures who often assumed the worst, especially about someone like him. As the officers arrived, the millionaire began explaining what had happened, but the boy could see the doubt flicker in their eyes, the hesitation in their tone. They questioned him first, their words sharp, their suspicion heavy. Where were you coming from? Why were you in the forest? Are you sure you saw what happened? Each question felt like a wall closing in, a reminder that the world often judged him before it listened. He answered honestly, step by step, but the weight of assumptions hung over him like a storm cloud. The millionaire tried to intervene, vouching for him, but even wealth and influence couldn't immediately erase the bias that had been ingrained in the system. In that tense moment, it became clear, doing the right thing didn't always mean being believed. Sometimes, courage had to be paired with patience, and truth had to fight its way past doubt and prejudice before it could shine. Even after the ropes were cut and the immediate danger had passed, the boy found himself under a cloud of suspicion. The police, hesitant to accept what they had seen, scrutinized him as if he were the one who had caused the trouble. Every question, every sideways glance, reminded him that society often judged him by the circumstances of his life rather than the content of his character. It was exhausting, frustrating, and unfair, yet he stayed calm, determined to let the truth speak for itself. The millionaire, visibly shaken by the ordeal, stood firmly beside him, insisting on the boy's innocence. Slowly, piece by piece, the story began to emerge: the boy's bravery, his quick thinking, the way he had risked himself to save another life without asking for anything in return. Even so, it wasn't enough to erase the initial disbelief. He could see it in the officers' eyes. They had been conditioned to doubt him, to suspect him first and listen later. Through it all, the boy realized that heroism wasn't about recognition or immediate gratitude. Sometimes, it was about standing firm when the world doubts you, about letting your actions speak louder than assumptions. And in that quiet persistence, truth began to find its way. In the end, what had begun as a terrifying ordeal became a story of accountability and unexpected redemption. The boy, who had once been invisible to the world, had shown a courage that could not be ignored. His single act of bravery had not only saved a life but had also forced those around him to confront their assumptions, their biases, and the ways they judged others too quickly. The millionaire, once just a stranger in the forest, became a witness to the boy's strength, vowing to ensure that his heroism was recognized and remembered. It was a reminder that true heroism often comes from those we least expect. It doesn't require wealth, power, or status, only a willingness to act when it matters most. The boy's courage rippled beyond that forest, touching lives, challenging minds, and inspiring change. People began to see that sometimes, the most overlooked individuals carry the greatest capacity for selflessness and moral clarity, and so, what could have been a story of fear and suspicion transformed into one of hope, justice, and profound human connection. One brave choice had altered the course of multiple lives, proving that even in the darkest moments, light can emerge from the most unexpected places.